buddy.
Hi, guys. Well, from starting to be springtime in Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast,
I'm Frank Feldman.
and I'm Dan Beecher.
And coming up today, we're going to talk about restrictions on Sabbath restrictions. Legal.
We're going to talk about the law.
Because as legal experts,
We are. There are other podcasts that they have, actual lawyers on them and whatever.
They claim.
They claim to be experts just because they went to years of schooling at prestigious institutions.
Law school.
Whatever. No, here's where you come for law stuff.
No, but this is where we have some fun, lighthearted stuff.
Yeah.
More or less. Not all of it's lighthearted, but
Well, we laugh to keep from crying.
Well, here's a story of someone who I don't know about how much laughing he's doing.
Oh.
He should be doing some crying,
Oh, dear.
but he's not doing that either.
Okay.
It's Pope Francis,
Oh, Pope Frankie.
who has admitted that there is corruption at the Vatican.
What?
He actually has admitted it. He says, but I am at peace.
Oh.
If there is a problem, I write a note to St. Joseph and put it under a statue that I have in my room. It is the statue of St. Joseph sleeping. And now he sleeps on a mattress of notes.
He does the 14-year-old girl version of dealing with problems.
And he's head of state. Of a very small, cute state.
I
But
write in my journal the name of all the boys that are mean to me, and then I tear that page out and I burn it. Oh my God. That is, what it points out is when you look at the machinations within the Vatican,
right.
whether, clearly there are those.
Yeah, I've been watching The Young Pope, so I'm fully aware.
Right. Because obviously they know.
Behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy little.
But it is a religion that ostensibly has someone at its head who cannot make a mistake,
Yeah.
and yet every pope is afraid of this group of the Curia, and
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, because we're talking about a very old institution,
Yeah.
a very wealthy institution that has a lot of influence globally.
Yeah.
You don't rise through those ranks without being able to work the politics of that organization.
But you would
And
think.
so then, and this isn't like running for office. This is you outwitted people.
Well,
And you outmaneuvered people.
I think you mean God chose you. I think by you outmaneuvered people politically, what you mean to say is you were chosen by God.
Yes.
And white smoke signifies that.
Yeah. I mean, who can say as far as the Pope is concerned? Because clearly Pope Francis seems to be at least projecting a very principled sort of public image.
Yeah.
Right?
He does project it.
It's harder to see through whatever he's got going on than, say, like it was with Benedict.
Yeah.
You could tell Benedict he'd been down in the trenches of the Vatican political system.
That dude was
there was something going on there.
Yeah.
But for this Pope to the speech, apparently it's described as having a lighthearted tone. This is the one in which he admits that there is corruption.
Right.
But
rather than I guess part of what I'm getting at is ostensibly, in theory, he has the power to kick everybody out and start over. Yeah. Like if he wanted a new Curia, he could. He could just be like, fuck you, and you. You're out. and you guys come in. He could do that. He could restructure the entire place.
But what happens?
And no one could say no to him.
Right.
But he's terrified. He's so scared of the Curia that his solution to the problem is to write a note and put it under an inanimate object.
Right.
That's as good as he's got.
I know.
That's cuckoo.
But he covered a range of issues, including clerical sexual abuse, financial abuse, and even commented on some criticism from his opponents. And
Okay.
all of that in just sort of this jokey, light tone of, I write notes.
Right. The question that was asked was, what's your favorite thing in your room? And he's like, this statue I've got. Well, let me go back a little bit. Let me back up a bit. I've got this statue because there's totally corruption here. I'll just say,
I don't know if anybody knows.
We've got this whole thing. Everybody's up somebody's ass about something. It's a little bit of a nightmare. So I just write my notes, and I put them under this little statue, and that's how I deal with my problems. Next question.
It's time for your snack.
Thanks. Is it juice time? Juice. I'm going to take us to Florida, where there is a lawsuit, and I found this to be very interesting. Mm-hmm. So we know that in public schools you can't pray. Like, the school itself can't pray. The kids can pray. Mm-hmm. Teachers on their own, not in front of the students, can pray. Everybody has the right to pray there. But the school cannot
have an official prayer.
Have a prayer. And so that's become a problem with things like football games where, there was a tradition of praying over the loudspeaker before a football game or whatever.
Or even the coach having a
prayer with the boys
in
the locker room or whatever. Right. All of that's not okay. What do you do, however, when the two football teams that made it to the state 2A football playoffs are both Christian private schools? Can they have a prayer over the loudspeaker? They can both. Their coaches can certainly pray with them, with the boys. Here's the deal. According to this,
wow.
So.
Well, who's the sponsoring? Who's paying for this game to happen?
There you go.
And where's the stadium?
It's the Florida High School Athletic Association is the overarching body that allows these teams to all play together.
Right.
That organizes it all, and it was played in a state-owned facility. Hmm. And that is the reason why the Florida High School Athletic Association, the FHSAA, said, no, I'm afraid you can't have that
loudspeaker prayer.
And then they threatened to sue. Well, what they said, apparently the lawyer said, either apologize or you'll apologize. Either apologize to me now or apologize to me when in court. And they opted for the latter, and so the lawsuit happened. The judge has now decided that it should probably be dismissed because nobody was discriminated against. That they all could still pray, just not over the goddamn loudspeaker.
Right. That's how these kind of things work, people.
Right. So anyway, but I thought that was interesting. You've got two private schools that, all of the prayer laws don't apply to them.
Right.
But
pray all you want.
Not there. Please.
Well, all right.
Not over the loudspeaker anyway.
Very interesting. Dan,
yes?
So something happened. We missed it last week.
Oh, good. I love it when we miss all the things.
But I felt like it was an important thing to bring up. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is the internationally renowned event that is called World Hijab Day.
Oh, Frank. I had my hijab already. When I missed it? Damn it.
I know.
I was going to wear it.
It always sneaks up on you every year.
It does. Every year. I forget. you know, you're busy and you don't think about it, and then suddenly it's the next day, and you're like, ah, shit.
Yeah, you know, and for as little as I enjoy, brushing my hair, one would think that this would be a given, that I would just wear the hijab.
Yeah.
To just not have to worry about my hair, just be done with it, just put on a little scarf.
What is the point of International Hijab Day?
Well, there's a couple points.
Okay.
There is the point of Muslim women who do wear the hijab,
right.
hijabis,
yes,
right? Sort of stepping out into their sort of Western, the Western nation that they might live in,
right?
And saying, "Here we are."
Visibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that.
Sure.
And then there's been a growing
they don't
aspect
do that?
of it.
I mean, I understand in this country, in Trump's America, I can understand not doing that.
You mean just on a daily basis?
For fear, yeah.
I mean, you'll sometimes see what probably is a couple friends walking down the street, both in their hijabs, but not like a parade. Dan.
Right. Yes, okay.
This is like Hijabi Pride Day.
Okay.
Right? I guess the other thing that has been happening, the phenomenon is Western women, non-Muslim women, wearing the hijab for these events to show sort of their solidarity and their support with these other women,
which is a problematic thing to do. It's because. Well, I mean, or it can be.
How? Yeah, I'm curious. What's your problem?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, so the question is, what are you showing support for? Because if you're showing support for a woman's right to wear a hijab if she wants to, then I'm all for it.
Okay.
But if it's interpreted as I support a Muslim country's right to force women to wear a hijab.
I certainly hope that's not what they're up to.
But what I'm saying is, like, that could, like, a Muslim, if you go to Saudi Arabia and then and they could say, look, these women in the United States support it. Look, these women in the Western world are in support of you wearing your hijab. So of course we're going to make you do it.
Propaganda, you're saying.
Absolutely.
Well,
I find that problematic.
I don't know. I'm not going to worry about how my showing up to any kind of rally might be able to be used for propaganda that I might not agree with. I think the statement, hopefully, is strong enough for just, or is clear enough.
Yeah.
Right. As to like what you're saying. The thing is, I think that you would probably have a lot of, women who are doing it for, I'm saying non-Muslim women who are doing it for different reasons. I could see a Christian woman who might be even fairly conservative, just having some idea of like supporting. Maybe she's known a Muslim in her life or two, and so she feels
and they
like
actually didn't turn out to be terrible,
right? And so she's showing up for this sense of real solidarity because also maybe she even shares a lot of values,
right,
with Muslims. It turns out,
yeah.
Right?
I mean, when you listen,
this one's a stretch. This is. I don't know that this happens much. What more likely is happening is that it's a liberal woman,
right,
who is putting on a hijab for a day as a statement of acceptance and plurality and multiculturalism and la 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 la.
Right, and that's you and I were talking earlier today about the video that the Bill Maher show, and he had Sam Harris on the show, and they started talking, and Sam Harris got to a really weird place in his thing. So,
they both get to weird places.
They're very dividing
independently of
figures in general. They're dividing figures in general, but even in our atheist community, they're two of the most outspoken, prominent atheists in the country, and they get in a lot of hot water even in our community. One of the things that Harris said was that the left in this country, the political left, is aligning itself with Islamists. Mm-hmm. I think that's pretty close to a quote that he said, which is crazy. Like, here's the thing. They make real points, too. They make really good points about how when we do a disservice to ourselves if we try to divorce jihadist, Islamist violence from Islam at large.
Right.
Like, that's not real. It is a function of Islam. And somehow, and Harris made the very good point that it is a war of ideas, and we need to win that war of ideas within Islam.
Right.
It's not a war a war against Islam won't fix this problem. It will make it worse.
Right.
The war of ideas within Islam is the war that we need to win, and we need to be. And he made a very good point that we need to be empowering the people who can help with that.
Empowering Muslims within the community.
Within the community, within Islam, within the community in Saudi Arabia, in the Middle East.
Right.
Empowering those people is what we need to be doing, rather than helping them radicalize radicalize people against us by us pulling asshole maneuvers like what Trump did.
Right.
However, when you start to say that the left is complicit with with Islam because we do things like support like this hijab thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
When he said something about, we don't share values with Islam. Here's the value
that there's at least
if I'm a leftist, the value that that has made me that is that of wanting everyone to be free to practice whatever they want to practice. As long as they're not infringing the rights of others.
Right.
And that's the concern.
Right.
That's why we can't have Sharia law, etc. But as long as you're not infringing the rights of others, then that's what this whole thing is about. Then freedom is the key. And it seems like that's where Sam Harris seems to get lost.
And the conversation, and this is where Bill Maher took it, it devolved into this, he was upset about burqas. Right?
Yeah.
He took a conversation that they were in the middle of talking about hijabs.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Bill Maher pivots to burqas, and that's the image that they bring. They don't bring up an image of a woman in a hijab. They bring up an image of a woman in a burqa. And the difference, for maybe any listeners who don't know, is that a hijab is the simple headscarf.
Right.
The woman will be dressed in regular clothes, albeit modest, usually covered down to her wrists.
And ankles.
But wearing, by and large, what she wants.
Right.
You'll see young girls, like teenage girls who are wearing a hijab. They'll be in jeans a lot of times, right? Like, they might be dressed very Western, but they have this headscarf on.
Right. Their hair isn't showing.
The burqa, on the other hand, is the nightmare garb of the Taliban.
They're dressed as ghosts. They're dressed as black or gray ghosts.
Right.
With sometimes holes for the eyes or like a mesh thing for the eyes. They're
completely covered head to toe. Their face is not showing. Not even a slit for the eyes.
Right.
Really. I mean, it's that mesh thing, right? And that's what he chose to go to.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if a woman is in she's making the decision to wear a hijab, I have no problem with it if it's her choice, right?
Yeah. If it's not her father or husband forcing it on her, or
right. But at the end of the day, whatever.
Yeah.
Right. The burqa, I would find it really hard to believe that many women are like really happy to be wearing a burqa.
Yeah.
Because it's dehumanizing.
Right. You don't get to show the human part of you.
Right. The hijab, it's in and of itself, is not dehumanizing. It may be a sign of a sexist system and so forth and so on, which has there are elements of dehumanization there. But the burqa is just flat out fucking.
Just cover up
there's
all
no
your
human being.
Cover up all the human parts.
Right.
We don't like those about you.
Right. And so one is maybe problematic. The other one is a disaster.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, and I just...
World Hijab Day.
Yeah. Well, they should do World Burqa Day and see how that goes.
I do like the fact that, like, when it comes to things from the Middle East, if it's a woman, you can just add the I to the end of it, and that means a person doing it. Like, so there's a hijab, but a person who wears a hijab is a hijabi.
Uh-huh.
I just think I want to start doing that. Today, currently, baseball cappy. I'm a baseball cappy.
Well, yeah, somebody who's at the Hajj, after they've completed the Hajj, is a Haji.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm at my house.
You're a cappy.
I'm a housey.
I don't know if that's...
When I drive my car.
You are a jeansy.
I'm a Toyota-y. I like the wording.
No, when you're driving your car, you're a grandpa-y.
Stop it.
That's,
the Toyota Solara is a gorgeous car. That styling has yet to be defeated in a...
Or catch on, for that matter. It's completely unique.
It's not completely unique. It's just better. It's a fantastic vehicle. I'm going to head us to Donald Trump. So are you aware that our president now is Donald John Trump? Is that... It still is hard for me to do. I can't. It still seems like we're all just being pranked on a reality show.
And yet it also already feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks.
He's wearing us out.
Has it been? It's been 3 weeks.
3 or 4. 3, yeah.
3 weeks.
Yeah. Whew. Crazy. Anyway, here's among a gazillion other things that he's done very differently from other presidents.
Right.
One of the things that he's done is actually appeared on CBN News. Now, for those of you not familiar, America has lots of news that starts with letters, but this is Christian Broadcasting Network news, and that is a very different animal. But yes, he has given them full-on, one-on-one interviews. He's basically favoring them. He's doing a lot.
Well,
in part because, of course,
he likes to look good in the media, and these people are going to make him look good.
It's all softball questions, and also, not for nothing, but he's dancing with the girl that brought him. He knows who his constituency is. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's notable that, he won't. That is where he goes. Like, yeah, he'll go to some of these other major broadcasters, but I think this is what he really likes. He was on the Brody File, which is David.
Is that a show?
Yeah, David Brody.
Is that David? A person?
It might be. What's amazing about Brody is that he's a Reformed Jew turned evangelical Christian.
Oh,
so of course they love him.
Yeah, he's the best.
He's the best.
He's got
kind.
everything going for him.
Because converts are extra special. Yeah, he had Trump on. Also, but it's not just that. Also, CBN has had a White House correspondent for years. But, their chairs in the very back of the room.
Oh, no. Have they been brought to the front?
No, but they've been called on a number of times. Oh. And apparently Jennifer Wishon, who is the correspondent, the White House correspondent for CBN, she says that Trump himself called her aside, and he said, you got one of our first questions today. And she was like, yeah, I did. And he said, that was because of me. He's making sure that they get called on.
Wow.
And that's in part because neither Trump nor any of his surrogates can actually answer real questions.
Right.
So, of course, they're going to... I mean, he even evaded questions in the Brody interview. He actually, Brody asked him about moving the Israeli embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, which the Christians desperately want him to do. It's so important. Move it. And that's because, of course, it delegitimizes the Palestinian claim to
Right.
Jerusalem
Right.
and legitimizes the Israeli claim to Jerusalem.
These people.
And what's bizarre about that is that the Christians care so much about it, not because they give a fuck about the Jews in Israel.
Right.
They don't care one shit about the Jews in Israel.
Right.
They just want to be on good terms for when Jesus come.
Well, and they also want to see. They're happy for just about anything that will destabilize the region,
The Middle
because they want that whole Armageddon nonsense.
Yeah, they need the war to happen. They
Yep.
need everything to get blown up so Jesus will come.
They don't want peace in the Middle East.
No.
Dear God.
And then when Jesus comes to the Mount of Olives, where there is, I probably still, do you remember I was talking about this? There's still a live feed. There was a live feed that's just like 24 hours monitoring that in case he comes.
It's like the watching the eagle eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
To wait for them to hatch.
Only eagle eggs actually hatch eventually. Jesus has been a disappointment so far. But yeah,
Well, good.
CBN finally getting their due. You know, that's Patty Boy's network. He started that
He
thing.
lived to see the day.
He did.
Wow.
Amazing.
I bet he's very proud of himself.
I'll bet he is. He could fly away on those troll ears now.
All right. Well, Dan.
Yeah.
Last week I brought up the fact that the Boy Scouts of America is now letting in
It's now the Girl Scouts.
the transgender scouts.
Yeah.
And now, even though you stepped all over what this story is about,
Uh-oh. I just made an ignorant joke.
well, now girls, cisgender girls, want to join the ranks.
They want in?
They want in to the Boy Scouts.
Well, it's got boy right in the title, damn it.
I think this is a step too far.
You object?
I object.
Interesting.
They have the Girl Scouts.
Yes, they do. And the Girl Scouts is a better organization anyway.
Yeah. But not according to Sydney, Ireland.
Oh?
A 15-year-old girl in, New York somewhere,
Okay.
who wants to follow in the footsteps of her older brother and earn the Eagle Scout rank.
No, you can't. Here's the thing. I don't understand. I don't know why they're gender separated. I don't know. Does it make any sense? Is there a reason to gender separate scouting?
I don't know, but the Girl Scouts actually, as inclusive and liberal of an organization as it is has been very firm on the issue that they are for girls only.
Yeah.
They've had boys who wanted to join, and
Yeah.
they're like, nope, not unless you, and the Girl Scouts is totally good on the transgender issue.
Right. They let trans girls in, but not trans boys, presumably.
No, I guess not, because
You
you have to identify as a girl.
You got to be a girl.
Right. And it's but the Boy Scouts has been going through this very strange and surprising process. For anybody familiar with the group, it should be surprising to allow in LGBT leadership.
Yeah.
And, or there's not a lot of L going on, but.
Yeah. No L.
No L.
BGT.
They're fine with those letters.
That's their new motto.
Yeah.
BGT.
But yeah, this letting a girl in would be a step too far. They do have programs such as the Sea Scouts, which are
Don't ask what C stands for.
Damn. That's terrible. That is co-ed.
Oh, my.
There's also, I think they're called like the what is it? Not journeyers or trekkers or not trekkers. That's something else.
That's something else
entirely.
But they do teach you how to live long and prosper.
Venturing. It's called venturing.
Okay.
Venturing scouts, I think. And girls are allowed to participate in that. But the core program, which is the one through which you can earn your Eagle Scout,
right,
is not open to the girls.
Well,
and this young girl is saying that this is an award that teaches that earning it. You've gone through the programs that teach leadership, and for a person of her age, it's the best you can get. Right. And the Girl Scouts are over in the wings going, well, we have our Gold Scout award, and that's pretty good too, and I'm sure it is. But also to prove her point, she has gone up to Canada and joined Scouts Canada, and which allows girls in.
Okay.
Because, she is just... She's hellbent.
She is gung-ho on the scouting.
She's also started a change.org petition, which has received 2.6 million views, or the video.
Oh, okay.
The video that has had 2.6 million views. Her the petition hasn't gotten that many signatures. It's like 4,000 or something like that.
Right.
Because not that many people really care about this.
Right. It's not an issue that's near and dear to many hearts.
Because there is the Girl Scout.
Right.
If this was the only scouting program in the country.
Right.
Right. There was some weird disparity. Right.
Yeah.
But there's not.
My sister didn't like the Girl Scouts and was kind of jealous of all the things that I did in the Boy Scouts. So I kind of get that.
Right.
Like, we'd go skiing, and then she'd go to Girl Scouts and make a puppet, and she felt like that was not equivalent, or whatever. They would do crafts, and we would adventure in. I mean, they went hiking and stuff, but they didn't do 7-day backpacking trips and stuff.
I guess the problem with this gender division in scouting, right? You have the Girl Scouts, you have the Boy Scouts, is that there's going to be for lack of a better way of saying it, the Girl Scouts is going to be maybe girly.
Okay.
Right? In a lot of ways. And your sister, was she a girly girl?
She's not. I mean, she wasn't a girly girl. No, she was she's a lesbian now. I don't know that means anything really, but she wasn't a girly girl.
Was she kind of more of a tomboy?
Yeah, I think she had a tomboy streak in her for sure.
So the Boy Scout program would have appealed.
Would have been, like the activities are more along. So I guess
why not take Girl Scout out and take Boy Scout out and have your
Adventure Scouts
and
Craft Scouts. You can have
you have your Sewing Scouts.
You have your Water Scouts and Mountain Scouts.
Baking Scouts.
Yeah. I can think of some boys that would have loved to go to Baking Craft Scouts.
See, here's the deal, though. I would have wanted both.
Right.
Because I loved the hiking and camping.
Yeah.
An outdoorsy part of the whole thing. But I would have also super loved taking, a decoupage.
Right. Exactly. Class. Exactly. Yeah, I don't understand the genderizing of it. I mean, I think we're getting to the point where that's going to stop being important.
I hope so.
We need to, because it's stupid. Genderizing, just as a concept, is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I get so weirded out when people are like, well, they act like this, but they're just boys. And I'm like, what?
Right.
It's because you trained them to be like that.
Right.
You trained them to be okay with being that way, and you trained your daughters entirely differently.
Right.
I don't know. Anyway, I'll move us along. Hey, speaking of kids, and genders and stuff, we live in the state of Utah.
It's true.
And in this state, as with many conservative states, sex education is a hot topic It's a
boy.
hot button issue here.
Oh boy.
It is not a place where comprehensive sex ed is taught.
No?
No.
Really?
Currently, state law requires that teachers stress abstinence. In it, they don't. It's not an abstinence only state. In this state, the teachers of sex ed can say the word condom.
Oh,
that's nice, but they can't emphasize contraception.
They can't explain what it's for.
Right.
They can acknowledge that the word exists.
Right. Yeah, it's something along those lines. They can't. They can't advocate for. Here's what's prohibited. One of the things: the advocacy or encouragement of the use of contraceptive methods or devices.
Oh, yeah.
Or sexual activity outside of marriage.
Can't promote it.
Can't promote that.
Right.
Can they promote sexual activity inside of marriage? Get hot and sexy with your... Once you get married...
Yeah.
Oh, here's what you're going to want to do.
Yeah, and you're supposed to say it in that sort of tone of voice.
Yeah, I think I could get hired as a sex ed teacher.
Oh, God.
Because... No, I can't because I'm not a coach. Aren't they all coaches?
I don't know.
It's almost...
Well, that's if it's part of the health class.
Yeah.
Right.
Our Utah law also interestingly prohibits the advocacy of homosexuality.
Ah, yes, the no promo homo.
Correct. That's the provision that's very important. There was in a recent vote in the House Education Committee, they struck down a bill that would have here's what it would have given parents the opportunity to do. They could have chosen to opt their kids into a comprehensive sex ed class if they wanted to. Well, we're not going to give them that option here in Utah. But there's been a lovely response to that, which is that mega porn site X Hamster has decided that they will help Utah parents. They've produced a series of videos just basically talking about sex and giving comprehensive sex education.
Oh.
Sort of PG-13 rated videos.
Okay.
Not porn.
Right.
And they've got this thing that comes up because Utah is the highest consuming state of pornography in the country.
Right.
So now I think a thing pops up when you're from Utah, when it detects that you're from Utah, that says, hey, would you like to see our sex ed informational videos? Or would you like to go onto the porn? We do both. It's fine.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, if you want to teach your kids about sex ed,
That's the best way to get the word out to, the Mormon parents.
Yeah,
that they have this program available.
Now the Mormon parents
just have it pop up on the.
I'm guessing the Mormon parents aren't the ones that would use this, but they're definitely the ones that are looking at the porn.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is it gets the message right to them, and it's a wonderful snarky little message for them
beautiful.
To receive.
The series of videos called The Box, which I don't know if I like that, but yeah, I've watched
that one of them that you have. I've
got one of them pulled up. It's just sex ed. They talk about things like the female orgasm. They talk about. Let me pull up. Let me see a few of them. The first time is one of the episodes.
Right. Yeah.
Episode 107. Grannies watch X Hamster. Wow, they've got old ladies watching porn. Apparently on one of the episodes. The condom challenge. Religion versus sex. Oh, I should have watched that one. I didn't see that one. Anyway, I've watched one or two of them. It's just, it's sex positive is what it is, which is pretty stark contrast to how the state wants it to be handled.
Yeah.
Which is sex is bad until you're married, and then it's good.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
But but certain kinds. Don't do all the things. That would be bad. Yeah. Anyway, sex positivity. I like it, and I like ex-hamster for fucking with everybody. Well, if you guys have anything you want to, if you have any porn sites that with useful information that you'd like to make us aware of, or have any comments, better yet, don't do that. But if you have any comments on anything that we've talked about so far, feel free to write into us, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while you're there, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. So, Dan.
Yes?
The Bakers, Jim and Lori Baker, they've become a new favorite for.
Yeah, they're
for
kooky.
Insanity.
They're kooky. They do love their Trump hotels. They've been talking about the ladies.
Oh yeah, and specifically the marchers, the at the Women's March. Right.
They're talking specifically about the Washington March.
Yeah, the crazy turnout.
Right.
In Washington, D.C., of women who, by and large, who were showing up out of concern over the Trump administration.
Right, but these guys know better. They know what's really going on with these women.
And
these women marching. I'll tell you what,
sad.
they're broken.
Oh,
they're
so
beaten.
sad
You
for
can
them.
just sitting in the midst of them. I looked at them. I looked close. I looked at them. I looked them all over. They're hurting. They're broken.
Oh,
they're beaten down. They're not even healthy. So many of them weren't healthy looking even. They looked like they'd been through a war.
Well, you have to understand that most women like that have been molested. They've been abused. They've been whatever in their life. And if you just have to go back to typically early childhood and things like that. And they just need the healing of the Lord, of the Holy Spirit.
I looked at them. Let me tell you something. I stared at them uncomfortably for very long periods of time. I looked at every single part, top to bottom, left to right. I focused particular attention on certain parts. And they are broken.
Broken women.
Not
the kind of women.
It really kind of sounded like you would say, like, I looked at them for a long time, and then I asked them out, and they said, no, they're broken.
Broken.
They looked at me as though I weren't the handsomest guy in the world. They're broken.
Well, also clearly abused women.
Well, they're all abused. It's a little known fact. All of them are abused. And what's funny is that
what a thing to say as sort of a means to discredit,
right? Yeah, like that. Oh well, then we can discount everything they have to say. If they were abused and they're marching for women's rights, then obviously we can just ignore what they have to say,
right? Because the statistics are pretty clear about the number of women who are abused and maybe were molested as a child. Like there were women in that crowd that had been.
Well, and
because any crowd of women is going to have a woman who's been abused.
Let me tell you something. Not the church. You go to the church, they're all unabused and totally happy, healthy women. What's amazing to me about this is the thought that because they're abused, that somehow invalidates their opinion about how women should be treated and about what the laws of the abuser who you need to listen to.
Right.
The people who are treated the worst in our society are the ones we need to be protecting.
Right.
So when they say, "Hey, help, protect us,"
right,
our response shouldn't be, "You're broken. Why should I listen to you?"
Yeah. What if
you dumb broken woman? Stupid bitch. Why are you talking? You're broken. Find me a unbroken woman and maybe I'll listen to her. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't want to say anybody is broken.
But if you think that Jesus helps when you've been raped or when you've been abused, you might be broken.
Oh God.
Something's broke. Well, we had some folks write into us, so I'll just read what they had to say.
Excellent.
And that's how this part of the show goes.
Yeah.
We do that.
Yeah.
Katie wrote into us. Katie said, "Hey, Frank and Dan. I'm looking for some advice on how I should have dealt with something that happened to me at work today.
Oh.
I was talking with a coworker and told her I wasn't feeling well. She immediately said, 'Let me pray for you.'
Oh.
I thought she would just say a prayer and that would be that. Instead, she came up behind the chair I was sitting in, laid her hands on my head and shoulders, and started actually praying for me to feel better.
Oh, my.
It shocked me and made me pretty uncomfortable. She didn't even ask if it was okay. I didn't know how to ask her to stop in a polite manner, so I just let her finish what she had to say. No. I'm not really closeted, but I am shy and have a hard time with confrontation.
Yeah.
What should I have done, and what should I do if this situation comes up again, or to avoid it coming up altogether? Apparently, Katie, you don't get to say that you're sick.
Yeah.
If you want to
laying on of hands.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit. That's intense. I will say this. This world sometimes calls for confrontation.
Yeah.
I know that that's hard, and I know that it's spooky and scary, and I get that. I'm fine with that being hard. But here's one thing. The part of the good news is confrontation gets easier the more you do it.
Right.
It's like anything. It's a skill that you have to practice.
Right. Well, and I think another skill that would be useful here is that one where you kind of slip your arms up and slide out of your chair.
Just if you can work on that skill,
because I know that's what my reflex would have been. I'd be like, "Whoa, don't touch me! Whoopsie-doo! What's going on here?
You did it wrong. We're doing it wrong. Everything's wrong."
I'm rethinking this whole prayer thing.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't realize you were going to be touching me.
Let me pray for you. No. Here's what we're going to do. You go.
I'm fine with you going over there.
Go somewhere where I'm not there, and then if you want to pray, you go right ahead. What a lovely thought. Thank you so much for. I mean, I think that's the key. Is to recognize that they think they're being nice,
right?
So good motivation. Let's assume good motives here.
Yeah, she thought that she was going to rain down a miracle on you.
So I mean,
as a means to convert you,
right? Where you
prove you and your atheism wrong.
Well, but I mean, I think we can say she was in her mind trying to be nice. So my advice would just be either practice saying no thank you quickly, or you can say something like, "That's so sweet, and yes, you may feel free to pray for me, but I don't pray, and that's not something that I would prefer in my presence." What a lovely thought. Thank you so much. Could you go get me an Advil? What a beautiful thought that is. Instead, maybe pray on the way to going to the store and picking up some pseudoephedrine.
Some Dayquil might
a
really
little
work here.
Dayquil, a little something.
Yeah. Ooh, Katie,
it's a tough one, but I think I think that you can practice positive confrontation. Mm-hmm. Confrontation doesn't have to be fuck off.
Right.
Fuck your prayer. Your God is stupid and I hate your shoes. It doesn't have to be that.
Right.
It can just be, but it is a confrontation. And it is something that we all kind of have to do. And it's uncomfortable, especially the first several times you do it.
But you are also correct in pointing out that the faithful often have bad shoes.
Right. Yeah.
I mean that's a connection that
it's
you could draw a Venn diagram.
It's not a guarantee. Let's face it. Oh, Katie, we're not very helpful, but that's what I got. I think you have to confront because they're doing something wrong in this scenario. They don't know they are, but they are.
Right.
So I think especially in Trump's America, we have to be willing to say it's not okay.
Nope.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Keep your hands off of me.
Right. No touchy, no pray.
Right.
We got another email from the recovering gringo.
Oh, okay.
Who says, not sure if you care to see Mormons in sci-fi. I've read a lot of sci-fi, and this is the only time I recall Mormons coming up, even in all of Orson Scott Card's stuff. The Expanse by James S.A. Corey. I'm through all the books, but there's now but there's now also sci-fi TV series as well, which is very well done. He says on the Sci-Fi Channel, season 2. Anyway, apparently he says I guess gringo, yeah. He says they get what's coming to them, the Mormons. Spoiler alert. Also, there's a kind of zombie thing, which I was initially against. I don't think zombies belong in sci-fi. Where do they belong then?
Real life.
But
duh.
It works in this case. So here's the reason that I wanted to bring this up is because Mormonism appears in sci-fi in sneaky ways.
Well, my favorite that immediately jumps to mind is Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. You know, are you familiar with the movie? Can you recall sort of how it has like these little like news, this federal news service?
No, I don't remember.
Like newsreel. It's all actually made in the fashion of a World War II film. Okay. But set in some weird future, whatever.
Sure.
One of the newsreel little clips is about a Mormon colony that has been destroyed by the bugs, right? And so you just have this scene that with this weird temple in the background that's a hybrid of like the Oakland Temple and a couple others. Okay. And then just this scene of just carnage. Just dead Mormons everywhere. The movie gets a bad rap in a lot of ways. They didn't really land the concept that they were going for very well. But that's one occurrence of Mormons in sci-fi. Do you have one, Dan?
Well, I was going to mention Battlestar Galactica. But that's all. It doesn't have Mormons, but it's sort of loosely based on Mormon theology and cosmology.
Yeah.
It's this weird thing. The original Battlestar Galactica show back in the 70s.
Right.
And maybe early 80s. Maybe it was somewhere in the 70s 80s time. Yeah. That show was created by a Mormon, and he wove in all of this winks, all these winks and nods.
Right. But like with The Expanse, I mean, there's actually like Mormon missionaries.
Okay.
And whatnot in that one. And so
I want to know why what's coming to them is the phrase that Mr. Gringo used.
I haven't watched season 2, so I don't know.
Oh, have you been watching?
I watched season 1.
Okay.
It's I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I didn't read the books.
Oh, well, there you go.
Sci-fi occurrences of Mormons. It's
and as the Gringo mentions, Orson Scott Card, who is sort of one of the greats of the sci-fi genre, was a Mormon, is a Mormon, Now he's like crazy conservative, d-bag guy, but surely some of his stuff, like he snuck in some winks and nods.
Yeah,
as well.
I can't remember because I read the whole Enders series. I know there was something weird in the. God, I can't remember the names of the books. But the one with the Pequinos or whatever.
I wouldn't know. I went to the same elementary school as Donald Trump, so I don't know how to read. So I've never read any of them. It's a sad malady that we share, Donald.
Oh, poor you.
Anyway, there you go. Hey,
is that what we got?
Do we have some people to thank?
We have a couple people to thank.
Yeah?
We have a couple new members of the faithful.
Oh, good.
We have Ray.
Okay.
And we also have Bill and Larry.
Well, there you go. The three most faithfulest of this week.
And, of course, James is still our savior.
Hooray. If you would like to join them, and by the way, because we haven't mentioned it in a few weeks, I want to say, Savior status is reserved for our highest, best, and handsomest contributor. So anyone can become savior of the entire podcast.
Yes.
Just by beating James.
Right. Or, we say faithful. We have a faithful new listener.
Yeah.
And that means they're giving at the $1 level
per episode.
And this is of course the most popular level to give at.
And
it's
amazing when people are willing to. That is not a place of low esteem, but rather one of high esteem for us.
Absolutely.
So yes, you can be a member of our faithful. You can be venerated. If you want to go a little bit fancier,
which is the $2 level.
Yeah. What are the other ones?
Beatified is the $3 level.
Yeah.
Saints come in at $5. Popes at $7.
Yeah.
And the Savior is just whoever is the highest up.
Right. And that just goes to help out. So if you would like to join the ranks of the holy. Of our listeners. You may do so by going to thankgodimatheist.com and clicking on the Patreon button there, and then go and make a per episode donation. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and Frank and Dan. Amen.
Dan,
we're going blue.
'Tis time.
We're going blue. We're gonna tell dirty jokes from here on in. And by going blue, I mean we're gonna talk about blue laws. The laws of this and many nations that are considered blue laws.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There is a category for this.
Right.
A blue law, well, as it's defined in Wikipedia, I'll just let them tell me. They are, quote, laws designed to enforce religious standards. And strangely, that's a thing here in these United States and elsewhere.
Yeah.
Also known as Sunday laws.
Right.
They are designed to restrict or ban some or all activities on holy days, as well
all activities.
No, you may not be parts of Israel. I'm sure that. I mean, not Sundays, but I'm sure that like Sabbath laws do restrict all
work,
almost all activity.
Work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, bad. Work is terrible.
The United States is not supposed to have an established religion, nor is it supposed to prevent the free exercise thereof.
Nah, but we're good at like getting around things.
We are really good at that. What brought this up in my mind this week was that in North Dakota, which is the northest of all the Dakotas, I tend to think.
I love Central Dakota, though.
One does enjoy. I like a good East Dakota myself. In North Dakota, they recently the North Dakota House voted, according to the Bismarck Tribune, by the thinnest of margins, to allow retailers to open on Sunday mornings.
I beg your pardon?
They had a blue law in North Dakota that said that nobody could open their store before noon on Sunday.
So people could go to church.
So people...
Everybody.
So that nobody had anything to do but go to church.
No excuses.
No excuses. Go to church on Sundays, you Jewish motherfuckers. Everybody goes to church on Sundays.
That's it.
And if you don't, well, you're not going out to the store.
Right.
That we can sure as hell. Wow. So they finally voted to defeat that. Not before some legislators in North Dakota said some pretty crazy stuff, including one guy who got up and said that his wife spent all of his money just fine 6.5 days of the week. And
oh boy.
His wallet could sure use that half day of reprieve.
Wow.
And then the other...
Sounds like he needs to get her in line.
Right? Just fucking put the hammer down. If she's spending...
He should not be relying on the state
to
intervene in his home life.
Yeah, that's a man who doesn't have his woman in order. You just gotta put your foot down. One man who apparently does have his woman in order was another state senator who claimed, it's funny, I could pull up their names. I am making no effort to pull up their names because who the fuck cares who they are?
Right.
Anyway, the other guy said that his wife, that Sunday mornings are for your woman bringing you breakfast in bed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's me time. And not her time.
No. She needs to get up.
That's a good time for her to celebrate me time.
Yeah.
Is what that is.
Make some breakfast.
So apparently, not only are these laws are not about church, they're about being misogynists.
Well, that's how they were trying to make it not be about church.
Right, yeah.
Because everybody knows that this is a religious law.
Right.
And therefore, probably shouldn't stand.
Right, exactly. But
right? So instead, they fell back to sexism.
Right. This isn't about religion, you guys. Come on. It's about making sure that your women feel like they're less than.
Yeah.
Why can't we just have one half day a week where women are made to sort of, in an institutional way, made to feel less than? Why can't we do that?
So take that, liberals.
Yeah. Suck on it. This is not the only kind of blue law out there. It's cute. It's cute to shut all of the stores for half a day.
But that's a common theme.
It is a common theme.
Try to shut down at least certain kinds of commerce.
Yeah. Strangely, across the country.
Oh, yeah.
Vehicle sales become a big weird thing that you can't do on Sundays.
I know.
Colorado, you can't sell a vehicle on a Sunday. Wisconsin, I think car dealerships have to be closed. Like
the list was actually, the one I saw was extensive. It was probably at least 20 states.
Oklahoma, yeah, it's pervasive.
And then Utah apparently comes in with a very clever way of not banning Sunday sales of cars.
Oh, you can sell cars on Sunday.
You can sell, but if you sell them on Sunday, then you have to be closed Saturday.
Yeah, you have to close on a weekend day.
Right. You just have to pick one.
Just pick one.
So guess which one everybody picks.
Right.
Because they're not going to close on Saturday.
No.
That's a car buying day.
Stupid. Alcohol is also a subject.
Well, of course.
Of many
of the
Sunday laws.
The evil that is alcohol.
And we have to say, a lot of blue laws are not statewide. They are municipal. So, like, for instance, in Utah County, which is where Provo and
Orem
and a bunch of other horrible places are.
Lehigh.
Here in Utah. You can't sell alcohol on Sundays. In the rest of the country, or the state, you can sell alcohol on Sundays. But here's the trick. You can get a beer.
Yeah.
You can't buy a bottle of liquor.
But you are talking about retail outlets.
Right.
Not on-site consumption.
Right. Okay. So, a bar can be open on a Sunday.
Right.
Brew pub can be open on a Sunday.
Any restaurant can sell you a glass of wine. No big deal.
Yeah, or a gin and tonic, fine.
Right.
Spirits, it's all there. But if you want to buy a bottle of spirits
and take it home,
there's no law that says a retailer can't sell a bottle of spirits on a Sunday. However, the only retailers that can sell a bottle of spirits belong to the state.
Yeah.
And they have chosen to close on Sundays.
Right. There are some hotels that have a limited license for retailing.
Oh?
Uh-huh.
Why didn't I know this? There have been times when that would have been useful information.
Yeah. It's actually quite common for the nicer hotels to have a little license
through the nose, but sometimes you need
they'll bring it up to your room.
Right. Do you have to have a room, or can you just go to the front desk and be like, dude, I need to buy some liquor?
I'm pretty sure one of the resorts that I'm thinking of, it's just a little store.
Huh. Well, yeah.
We might have found the loophole, Dan.
It is a loophole. We needed to know about this. More research will ensue. Anyway, moving on. So places like Illinois, no car sales. Retail alcohol sales in stores prohibited after 11 a.m.
Oh.
No, until after what? Are prohibited until after 11 a.m.
Ah.
So you can't do it in the morning.
That's confusing.
You got to get drunk after church. And no horse racing.
No horse racing?
No horse racing on Sundays.
Well, that's no.
Unless authorized by the local municipality. So apparently the local municipality can be like, yeah, we'll allow that because it's all of our income.
Right.
That's really
weird.
funny.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's all over the world. Blue laws kick in. Canada had the Lord's Day Act in 1906 that used to prohibit business transactions from taking place on Sundays.
Right.
It was declared unconstitutional in 85. So from 06 to 85, that was a thing.
Right.
Here's one that I hadn't thought of. Cook Islands, Tonga, various Pacific islands. Of course, when they were, quote, discovered, rather when they were white peopled, when the white folks found them, when the European people found them, they didn't have a written language, did they, or did they?
I don't know.
I'm not sure about that. Here's what I do know: they didn't have white folk laws.
Oh,
They didn't have white folk kind of government.
right.
So when that was foisted upon them, insisted upon, so that those savages could be civilized,
must civilize.
guess which white folks were around to help them write those laws?
Oh dear God.
Missionaries. So you get a whole lot of can't do nothing on Sunday laws all throughout the Polynesia, apparently.
Well, so there's a lot of laws, a lot of silly laws all around the place.
Yeah.
All around the world in surprising places, in
Yeah.
fact. Why can't we easily argue against these for being exactly what they are, which is religiously based laws?
Well, these things have gone to the Supreme Court a number of times.
So people have sued over this.
Yeah.
They've sued the state.
And they've gotten around it. The Supreme Court has, on a number of occasions, said that it's not that it's a thing that they can do. In the
On
U.S.
what grounds?
Let's see. So they've been held as constitutional, citing secular basis, even though the origin of the laws was for religious purposes. So technically, so basically, it's what the states are claiming, or what the governments are claiming, is that these blue laws, they make it they're just prohibiting, they're just taking a day and giving everybody a rest, giving everybody a break from drinking or from horse racing or whatever.
That's bullshit.
Of course it's bullshit. It's nutty. Yeah.
I think that this is, yeah. I mean, they're clearly just hearkening back to a more simple time.
Right.
Right. I mean, I can
A more stupid time.
A lot of my my early childhood memories are from a place called Manteca, California.
Sure.
Right. And at least at the time, was a small community in the Central Valley.
Yeah.
And I remember nothing was open on Sunday.
Right.
And I'm sure it was the same here in Salt Lake.
For the longest time, it
Yeah.
was. Well, I mean, in my lifetime,
You can remember when businesses were closed, right?
a lot
And we
of
still
them,
have a downtown mall that doesn't open on Sunday.
Yeah, the biggest mall, probably like the most important mall in the state.
Yeah.
I would guess, but maybe
not by total sales.
no.
But as far as like importance.
Yeah, like
As far as being a fancy mall.
and being on expensive real estate and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, even the Apple Store, which didn't want to close on Sunday,
Is forced to close.
they close.
But that's not because of law. That's because
That's because the owner of the establishment,
the mall itself,
which is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, or one of their subsidiaries.
Right.
They insist upon it, and they can do that, and nobody has a problem with that, like, legally.
Right.
It's just when the law says, it's just when everybody has to obey my church's rules,
right,
that it becomes a problem.
But it's just
although here's what's interesting
to me.
The most effective the times when people have most effectively fought blue laws in courts, they have been on opposing religious grounds. So like what do you
mean by that?
Meaning it was a religious group who just practices their religion on a different day, or they practice their thing. They do it differently, and so they want the right to be able to sell their thing on Sunday because that's how they do with that's their religion. That's part of
So a Jewish business owner or a Muslim business owner.
Right. Or another Christian business owner, but like one of the things
Seventh-day Adventists.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So when they start raising the things, then the courts are like, oh yeah, that's probably not very good. We're infringing on their right to practice their religion when we do this.
But if you're just if
you're just a secular person who wants to shop on a Sunday like a human, fuck you.
Well, you'd probably that's definitely a hard claim. But if you were a secular person who's wanting to open on Sunday,
yeah.
If you're a businessman, or woman who wants to take the opportunity, you're not going to church. You know, there's others who aren't going to church. Why not be able to have people come in and buy a new T-shirt?
Yeah. It's here's the thing. Even though challenges in courts haven't always worked, most blue laws, like the one in North Dakota, are being repealed.
The legislature,
like it eventually gets around to it because there is money involved. Like, businesses are losing money on this.
Yeah.
And that tends to open the eyes of legislatures pretty quickly.
Right.
There's an interesting article that happened in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Do you know Henrietta?
Yeah, I do know Henrietta, actually.
It's your neck of the woods, your former neck of the woods. A dance, a school dance had to be canceled, had to be shut down, a Valentine's dance.
Why?
Because they have a law in that area. No dancing within 500 feet of a church, says the ordinance.
Oh. No dancing at all?
No dancing. It is illegal to dance within 500 feet of the church. And since there's a church 300 feet away from the venue where they were going to have this dance.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
They couldn't do it. Which is
my
weird.
senior year was the first year we ever had a prom at my high school.
What?
Yeah, every year before that it was the senior banquet. What? Because
dancing's evil.
Dancing's evil.
Because Footloose is real.
Yeah, because the school was run by Baptists, and so
oh my god,
there was no dancing.
That is crazy.
They don't dance. They hate the dancing.
Well,
and so, but there were finally the town had diversified enough that so what we did is we had the banquet first, and then there was a dance floor, and so all the kids who couldn't stay because their parents wouldn't let them stay at a dance had to leave, and then the rest of us stayed and had a good old time.
Oh my god.
And then we rented out,
and then they had sex parlors, and the kids who weren't allowed to do that had to leave, but the rest of them could stay.
No, then after we rented out the First Baptist Church in Muskogee, which had a big like recreation hall, right? So they had like bowling alleys and they had roller skating. And it was fancy.
That kind of church.
An amenities church.
An amusement park church.
Yes. And so we all threw in some money, and a couple of the old ladies from the church came down to chaperone,
of course,
and watch the facilities as well.
I would do that no matter what the facilities were. Yeah,
they thought it was the best thing ever that these kids, instead of going out and having sex, were
coming to church.
We're coming to church. So that's what we did. Me and my friends.
I would have gone out of my way to have sex in the church. That's not true. I was very respectful then. Now I would. Now as a 40-plus-year-old man,
Yeah.
I would go in for the bowling, but stay for the sex.
Yeah. There you go, Dan. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, so that story rings true for me.
Oh, my God.
That part of the world is weird about dancing.
Yeah, well, that's what you get when you got a country founded that was sort of founded by a bunch of people who were who were leaving England because it was not repressive enough with its religion. Then, when that's who founds your country, this is what you get here in these United States of America.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, boy, those damn fucking Puritans.
Well,
They
kids,
really fucked us over,
they
Dan.
sure as hell did. We've been fighting it ever since. Fortunately, the nature of human beings goes against that.
Yeah, that's true.
And so the arc of justice is long, but it bends towards sexy. To paraphrase Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King did like his sexy.
Yeah, that's a good paraphrase.
Anywho, hey kids, if you guys have anything you'd like to chime in, if you've bumped up against some blue laws in your neck of the woods,
Or bumped up against anything else.
write to us. Podcast at thankgodimatheist.com is the email address.
Or you can call and leave us a voicemail message. The
Yeah.
telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Yeah, or so go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIAtheist.
And while you're on Facebook, search for the TGIA Members Only Lounge and request to join. It's a closed group, but we'll let you in, and it's awesome.
It's awesome. The only requirement is that you be cool. And I mean that. You have to be cool. You can't be a dick there. Anyway, speaking of the Members Only Lounge, hey, thanks to Sarah, Amy, and Danny for all their help on moderating that place.
And thanks to Mackenzie for her help posting on Facebook.
On our Facebook page. Thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club and Gordon Johnson for the use of their fine, fine music.
And thank you, dear listener, for listening.
We sure do like it when you do.
Bye-bye.